Gaming discourse in 2025 is broken. It's just broken, especially on social media. Maybe, amongst your friends, it's not broken. I think when you get in person with people, it's not broken. But in social media, it's absolutely broken. There is no question about it. I am someone, and this channel is one that is focused on Xbox. I love Xbox. I think Game Pass is the future. I'm definitely not anti-Xbox. And yet, when I tweet out that not every Game Pass game is a masterpiece, so we should stop talking about them like they're masterpieces, I get backlash. It's amazing from Xbox fans, as if any criticism is betrayal. And that is exactly what's wrong with gaming at the moment. Gaming has become a substitute for politics, and it's very unfortunate. What do I mean by that? I mean, for instance, if you take, let's use Dragon Age as an example, or South of Midnight, or hell, any Game Pass game, or any game that drops to Game Pass. If you express the slightest bit of criticism towards them, you have people that dig in and say, why are you criticizing them? If people like the game, they like the game. You having a problem with it, just ignore them. Well, why don't you just ignore me? Like, that's the irony here is, so I can express my opinion about someone's take on a game, but you can express your opinion about my take on it. That's what's wrong with gaming, and it's broken. It's broken on social media. There's this tribal mindset that sets in. And I'm not someone that is anti-Xbox at all. I'm not someone that's anti-Xbox. I'm pro-Xbox. I'm pro-Game Pass. And it's just a shame, and I think it's a shame. We're going to go over 2 tweets today that go over this. I really wanted to get this off my chest. I want to talk about it because I think it's important. I think it's important. I go and look at reviews, and unfortunately, Blueprints just dropped this last week. I downloaded it on my Xbox this last weekend, and I'm seeing people say this is the greatest game of all time, and it very well may be. But I find myself having to go through multiple reviews to find someone that I trust before I consider downloading the game and playing it, because I'm a guy with limited time. So I want to be able to say, okay, everyone's telling me this game is good from sources that I trust. I want to play this game. And unfortunately, we're in this position that I've got to go through 4 or 5 reviews before I'm like, okay, I actually trust this. I do not trust the IGNs of the world. I don't trust the Eurogamers of the world. I don't trust many, unfortunately, of the independent influencers that I found, because they have lied to me about games being the greatest of all time. Come to find out, they were really just dug in because it was a substitute for their politics. And that's unfortunate. And it shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't have to dig for sources that you trust, but you do. And I do. And I think that gaming discourse is broken. We're going to jump into it today. I'm going to show you some of the tweets and some of the criticism that I got for those tweets, and let you be the judge. You think I'm completely off base here? You can let me know in the comments below. Have you experienced this as well? Again, let me know in the comments below. Regardless, I think the moral of today's video, the takeaway, is find someone you trust. Find someone who's honest. Find someone who's willing to be a critic and also willing to be a cheerleader. Both. Because if you're not willing to do both, you're probably dishonest. You're probably all in on one side or the other on any given topic and are just a cheerleader. And I think that's unfortunate. And I think it's really unfortunate just how politicized gaming has become over, I'd say, the last year. And I hope that changes, and I hope to be a part of that change. Before we jump into it, though, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. My name is X1 the Gamer. We drop videos like this all the time right here. Like, subscribe, share us with your friends, and join us on Discord. We've got a Discord. Link is in the description. Actually, I think we're going to pin it to the comments. We're pinning it to the comments. So come join us, and let's continue the discussion there. Here is the tweet that set it off just a few days ago. Now, I dropped this the day that South of Midnight came out, and that was probably a mistake on my part. I was not necessarily talking about South of Midnight. I was talking about a plethora of games on Game Pass that I've seen, quote unquote, Xbox influencers, Xbox opinion leaders shouting out and saying, oh, this game is just so good. Look at Game Pass is so good, blah, blah, blah. I am someone that thinks Game Pass is so good. The value is undeniable, but not every game on Game Pass is a masterpiece. That's all I'm trying to say here. The Game Pass value is variety. Here's the tweet that I said. Just because a game hits Game Pass doesn't mean you have to pretend it's great. Watching some Xbox creators gush over every drop like it's a masterpiece is exhausting. The power of Game Pass isn't that everything is amazing. It's that you get to choose. Not every game is for you, and that's the point. Embrace the variety, not the hype. And that's, I think, that the difference here. Game Pass's strength is its variety. If everything is just hyped, if everything is a masterpiece, then guess what? Nothing is a masterpiece. That's just the reality. If everything is great, nothing is great. And a hint, everything's not great. Everything's not a masterpiece. Everything's not for you. Everything on Game Pass is not for me. That's the beauty of Game Pass. Here are some of the comments here. Cole Eastwood, shout out to Cole Eastwood there, replied, facts, this is the first year in a long time Xbox Game Pass has had consecutive great games. That variety is incredible. I don't disagree with that at all. You know, a lot of people, in fairness, agreeing with me on this, and I responded, truth. Exactly. Here we go. Detroit's Reaper. And this is where you could see some people kind of breaking their brains that I dare say that not every game on Game Pass is a masterpiece. What game are they, quote, pretending is great? Maybe it's great to them. You ever think of that? He spelt two as in too many instead of two as in T-O. So I kindly correct him. I know that's a jerk move to make, but it made me laugh. It made me laugh. Yeah, like I'm not saying that you shouldn't enjoy a game. I'm not saying that you're not going to enjoy a game that I would not necessarily enjoy. You may enjoy many games that I don't enjoy. One, that doesn't mean that it's a masterpiece, first of all. Second of all, who cares? Like, why are you so butthurt that I'm literally saying in this post that variety is the key. That variety is what makes it fantastic, Game Pass. But because it came out on the South of Midnight, and South of Midnight is one of those politicized games. It just is. If you don't think that is politicized, you've had your head in the sand. That doesn't mean that South of Midnight's not good. It doesn't mean that South of Midnight is great. It doesn't mean that South of Midnight is terrible. I'm not making a judgment on any of that. All I'm saying is that not every game is a masterpiece, and the variety is what makes Game Pass game. Here, Lord Jamar here. We pretending like South of Midnight is the worst game ever made, huh? Did I mention South of Midnight, everybody? Did I? I didn't. And you can see how there's this mindset. There's this tribal mindset that has set in here. Here's what I replied. I never named a game, you did. Might want to unpack why that one hit a nerve. What I said isn't about any one game. It's about being honest. Blind hype helps no one. If we can't talk critically about what drops on Game Pass, what are we even doing? Other people replied, including himself. I'm not going to go over every of them. Let's be real, fam. The timing of you saying this makes it real hard to believe you are not talking about South of Midnight. You can see. Who cares if I am talking about South of Midnight? Let's say I put South of Midnight in that, which I didn't. Who cares? Like, why are you getting all defensive? Is South of Midnight a masterpiece? I don't think so. Some people may think. I do the X1 Bros podcast. Two of us didn't think it was a masterpiece. I was probably the harshest critic of it. My cousin thinks it is. He puts it up there right underneath Kingdom Come Deliverance, which I think is crazy, but who cares? Who cares? And you can see the tribalism that exists in gaming at the moment is unreal. See, you're not liking South of Midnight? Shout out, by the way, to PMH360. Love that dude. Here's another one. Let people enjoy things, bro. Let them gush over it. Playing games has never been about how others felt about it, but how you feel. I see people gush over Nintendo games, but I find no interest in them, and that's fine. And I just told him, you should reread what I said, bro. Again. So once again, I'm saying that the Game Pass variety is what makes Game Pass great. That there's something in there for everyone, but that doesn't mean that every game on Game Pass is a masterpiece. And if we can't have that discussion, what's the point? And he's saying, why do you have a problem that not every game is not a masterpiece? Because not every game is a masterpiece, bro. Like that's it. That's it. I think, and you could go down, you could go check out it's really interesting. This take of mine, this post got almost 20,000 views on Twitter. So I clearly hit a nerve, and I clearly hit a nerve with multiple people who agreed with me, people that didn't agree with me. But I think there's something here in that many of us, even if we can't articulate it correctly, and I don't know that I'm doing the best job of articulating, I'm not saying that. Many of us can feel this tribalism that has set in. Now, there's always been tribalism in console wars. That's not what this is, though. This is taking games and projecting your own ideology onto those games. This is taking games and making them something more than what they are. A game is a game, and a game either hits hard for you or it doesn't. Projecting anything else onto that, I think, is a mistake, and I think is ruining gaming overall. We're taking something gaming, video games, entertainment, escapism, and turning it into something that I don't think it's ever intended to be. Now, that doesn't mean that, for instance, with South of Midnight, you had I believe it was the art director, make some hideous comments about white people. Frankly, some disgusting racist comments. And a lot of people are reacting that are opposing South of Midnight. That's fine. Again, I'm not talking about South of Midnight in this post. I'm talking about Game Pass as a whole, that I'm seeing accounts out there say, every game on Game Pass is amazing. And you should not critique any of them. And if you do, what's your problem, bro? Why can't you just let people enjoy their games? I'm not saying they can enjoy their games. I'm saying the game is not a masterpiece, though. Whether you enjoy it or not is irrelevant. It's not a masterpiece. It's not a 10 out of 10. Not every game is going to be a 10 out of 10. And guess what? That's okay. And I think a lot of people are just taking this 10 steps too far. They're jumping the shark here. And I think it's ruining gaming. I think we all got to find people that we trust. The fact that I had to go through reviews for Blueprints, but by the way, everyone should download. Jumped into it last night. I'll be jumping in more this week. I don't have an opinion on it yet, but I enjoyed what I've played so far. I had to go through 4 or 5, 6 different reviews before I got a good idea for what it was, because I just don't trust reviewers anymore. Even independent reviewers. There was a time where independent reviewers you could trust. Not anymore. Like, it's a case-by-case basis. You've got to take someone who has consistently ignored the noise and just given you their honest opinion, not projected their own ideology onto the games. And I think it's unfortunate. I think it's bad for gaming. I think it's unsustainable for gaming, and I hope we get back to a part where, hey, guys, we just talk about the video game itself. All your other nonsense around it is irrelevant. The game is either good or it's not. And I hope we get to that point. In response to this, I actually retweeted my original tweet. Hey, you've made it. That seems right narcissistic, right? But hey, you've made it when you retweet yourself. So I retweeted my first, and I said, here's what I said. The responses to my last point, or my last post, proves how broken gaming discourse is in 2025. I said not every Game Pass title is a masterpiece, and somehow that got turned into, quote, he hates my favorite game, unquote. Tell me that didn't happen. Go read through the comments. You can see. This isn't about your taste. If you like a game that's awesome, enjoy it. But that doesn't mean every creator needs to pretend it's the second coming just because it dropped on Game Pass. Gaming isn't broken because people love games. It's broken because the second someone expresses even mild criticism, it's taken as a personal attack. We've lost the ability to talk about games honestly without someone turning it into a battle over validation. Let me reread that. Amen, brother. Who is this X1 the Gamer guy? Amen to this guy. We've lost the ability to talk about games honestly without someone turning it into a battle over validation. That's not passion, that's insecurity. Let's stop defending hype and start defending real nuanced conversation. The gaming space deserves better. And I think it's unfortunate we've seen that. We've seen journalists defending game developers and game studios regardless of whether or not the game is good, regardless of anything else. And it's them projecting their own ideology, their own politics onto something that it's not intended. That's not the intended purpose. The game is either fun or it's not. We got to get away from this. And I think they're doing incredible damage to the gaming space. I blame gaming media, gaming journalists first and foremost. I think trickling out of that has been independent game reviewers, independent channels. They're caught up in this. And let's be honest, it's a way to get views. It's a way to get views, to take this really harsh stance. But I think it's eroding real game discussion. I think it's eroding and blurring the lines on what video games are supposed to be. Video games are supposed to be an escape. That doesn't mean that a video game can't have like a meaningful political agenda, let's say, or a point to be made. It can, but as long as the gameplay, as long as that's not that point doesn't overshadow everything else in the game to where they're making this point, but the game sucks, then what's the point in making the point? Like, Grand Theft Auto is a great example. Grand Theft Auto makes all kinds of points from all across. They leave nothing is holy to Grand Theft Auto. And what? And do people care? No, you can make any point you want in a video game if your video game is good, and everybody will play it. The video game needs to be good. That is it. It needs to be entertaining. It needs to cause me to escape myself, to have fun mechanics, fun gameplay. That's it. That's all that matters. I think the gaming space deserves better. And I think even to this post, to this post where I'm further clarifying what I'm meaning, you get people jumping in And let's see if I can find it. Right here. Again, Game Pass games are just games and get reviews like any other games. Again, Lord Jamar, who follows me. Shout out to No Jamar. Thank you for the follow. If anything, I think they get criticism even more than usually these passes. These legions of people, blah, blah, blah. Who are these legions of people defending Game Pass games simply because it's in Game Pass? Call them out. Let's see. Yourself, bro. Mirror. Time to hold up a mirror. Go look at all the posts on that you dug in on in that last post there. Anyways, that's my thoughts. I just wanted to start the week sharing those with you guys. Let me know what you think, though. Am I missing something here? Is there a blind spot that I have that I'm missing? Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? How do we get back to having a healthy discussion about video games, about the art of video games, about the entertainment that is gaming? Let me know in the comments below. Again, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel. My name is X1 the Gamer. We drop videos like this all the time. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.